Hello, my name is Candy Williamson. I'm the owner of Creating a Sustainable You. Welcome to our Wellness Wednesday. I'm here with Jeanette Conery, yoga therapist. Very excited to talk with her today. Um, so we're just going to wait a little bit for everybody to log on and get tuned in. I was just going to talk a little bit about, um, if we have any technical issues, please be patient with us. So far, we're doing pretty good on these. And if you are watching the replay, make sure to add your comments below, and we will reply to those comments when we get them. So as we talk, you can engage and ask Jeanette direct questions, and we'll be able to get back to you as well as myself. And if you know anyone who could benefit from this information, please feel free to share or invite them to tune in. And we do this every week. We have an expert on in their field to give tips, guidance, and information for you to feel your best. And today, our topic, we're talking about self-care that you can do at home during these times. And I'm thinking, oh, and also we do Feel Good Fridays. Jeanette does some really fun tips on there. She's got stretches, yoga mini series, breathing techniques, and all kinds of quick tips that are easy to add into your day. So we're going to share some of those today, but you can get more of them on Fridays. So if you're just tuning in, make sure to comment below. And Jeanette, why don't you tell us a little bit about your passion in the field of healing and health?
My passion in the field of healing and health. Well, it really comes from my own journey. I've been healing myself for a very long time now, and I've come to see that it really is a lifetime process. You're never done, and you never get to give up. So that's what I'm doing until the day I die. I thought it would be so wonderful to share the things that I've learned with others so that they can lean in towards that wellness as well.
Pain is such a great teacher and motivator. And you've had your journey, which has been really, it's led to the program that you just graduated from, the yoga therapy program. And how do you feel that is beneficial to your clients and those that you work with?
Okay, so if I had never experienced chronic pain, how could I connect and relate to the people who I'm working with? When I have someone on the mat or on the table in my yoga studio, I really feel from my heart for them. And that's what brings the therapeutic relationship from just one way, me telling you what to do with your body so you get better. It becomes a back and forth, a conversation between us and a collaboration. I'm constantly asking things like, how does this feel? What does that feel like? How is the right side different from the left side? And that all comes from my personal experience with pain.
And now that we're not seeing clients in person just yet, but we're very excited to announce that that is coming. We don't have our date to announce for you because we're still preparing the things that we need to make sure we're totally ready to see clients in person, but it's coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some things for people to evaluate at home to discover if their pain is something that can shift or if it's something that's permanent or can't be helped?
It can always be helped. There's always something, and there's always a shift. Pain is a sign that you're having a need that's not met. And in yoga, we really look at going into ourselves and knowing ourselves to the deepest level possible. And it's easy to see why that level of knowledge about oneself can lead to insights about how to better care for oneself and one's mind, body, and spirit. There are so many different things that cause chronic pain. Sometimes it really is something as simple as activating the right muscle. Other times it's more of a puzzle, or possibly something more subtle, something happening in the nervous system, something happening with the mind-body connection. Yoga is a system that effectively addresses all of those aspects of the human being to really help you root out your causes of your suffering.
So for our listeners, the people tuning in today, do you have a little experience that they can go through in this moment to become a little bit more aware of themselves, of their body, and just to start that process of noticing where something is and how to do that?
Absolutely. I'd like everybody who's watching right now to just freeze in your chair. Don't move. Don't straighten yourself up. Don't fix your posture. And then take your mental gaze, your attention down into your feet. What are your feet doing? Are they pointing in towards each other? Are they pointing out? Is one foot doing something different from the other foot? And then bring your attention a little higher to your knees. What is the angle of your knee? How are you sitting in your chair? And is the knee mostly closed? Is it mostly open? Is your foot dangling and putting a little pressure on the knee? Come a little higher, and are you sitting on both hips evenly? Are you sitting more on one side than the other? And trace your attention up the spine. Does the spine seem to be curving in one direction or the other? Are you leaning on one armrest and not the other? And if you are, chances are you do that every time you sit down. Okay? And if you're wondering why you have a low back pain or a shoulder pain or a neck pain, that could be related to it. So bring your attention a little higher into your neck, and how are you holding your head? Where is your head in relation to your shoulders? Is it far out in front of your body? Is your chin pointing out? Or is your head back and the back of your neck long? See if you, now this one's going to be a little more subtle. See if you can notice whether you're tilting your head to one side or the other. Are you leaning on your hand? Are you collapsing onto your desk? Notice everything you possibly can about the way you're sitting right now. Is that what you were looking for?
Yes.
So bringing awareness to these things is the first step in healing. This constant awareness becomes your relationship with yourself, a conversation between you and your body, and an investigation into, what do I need?
And so it looks like Kelly's noticed that she sits more on her right hip. What are things that might be affected by that?
Okay, so, well, it depends, right? If I'm sitting on my right hip, I might be leaning like this. This could cause you some mid-back pain, SI joint pain. Often we sit and we cross our legs. I'll bet Kelly's, if she's leaning on her right hip, she's probably got her right leg crossed over her left and she's leaning like this.
Is that true, Kelly?
Is that right? We'll find out in a second. But guilty, she says. Yeah. So there's no shame. It's just noticing without judgment. Hey, wow, now I have this awareness. What can I do with it?
And these are displays of patterns, and which is how you could guess that if she felt more weight on that right side, that she was likely crossing her legs and sitting that way, which is a pattern.
Correct.
And so if you can identify a pattern, then you have the ability to work with that pattern and to shift it and bring it back into balance.
So what we're doing is we're taking things that were previously involuntary or things that we're doing subconsciously, and we're bringing them out into the light, making the involuntary voluntary, the subconscious conscious. And you can see how this has a rippling effect throughout your whole being. Once we start becoming more aware of our bodies, we are then more free to become more aware of the deeper levels of ourselves as well. And that is extremely useful when we're talking about chronic pain. And I'm talking about the kind of pain where you've been to the doctors, you've had the MRIs, nobody really thinks there's anything wrong with you, and you're going crazy because you're thinking that everybody is accusing you of being crazy because it's just all in your head. It's not, kind of, but not really. There are different levels. There's other stuff to look at beyond what what you might think on the surface.
So these are this practice of becoming aware of what's going on in your own body is helpful in the sense that maybe you always feel pain somewhere in your back, but in this scanning process you realize that you have a tension in your core that maybe you weren't aware of. And so until you identify that, it's hard to correct. And so part of what this does is it just makes you more capable of taking control of your path. And someone like Jeanette can guide you through putting those puzzle pieces together.
I like to call it connecting the dots.
Yeah.
You connect the dots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what are some of the ways that you can connect those dots for people and correct that?
Okay, well, specific practices, again, depending on the individual and what their pain seems to be coming from, that can range from physical movements to holding certain postures, assessing joint function and whether a joint is balanced in the way it moves. Posture is a really huge one for a lot of people. And then beyond the physical, there are breathing techniques, meditation techniques, guided meditations, which are really nice. Yoga Nidra is especially effective at opening up your mind into the healing state, this neutral state where you're able to sort of allow the things from the subconscious that are burdening you to come up without the stories that we usually get when we think about these things. You'll notice that things that are coming up, it's like, wow, I'm watching it like it's a movie and it's not really making me angry or sad. It's just there, and then it's not anymore. So this is a really effective tool to use regularly to resolve subconscious issues, and then that frees up the space in your being, in your life, in your mind and heart for new behaviors to emerge, new patterns that are going to be more healthful and more beneficial for you.
So this seems like it can be a pretty intense process. Is it something that is daunting and overwhelming? Is it, if you're going to correct this dysfunctional pattern that you've always had and you were never aware of, are you ever going to be able to correct it? Or is it something, because...
Yeah, everything changes.
Yeah.
Everything changes all the time. Everything can change. The Yoga Nidra is particularly enjoyable. Most people don't find it to be stressful at all.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, they enter a state where they're not sure if they were asleep or awake. I often hear people say that they heard my voice the whole time, but they were also sort of dreaming about other stuff. That's what we're going for. It's very relaxing, and you wake up feeling refreshed, like you've just slept 8 hours. Tension melting right off of you. Meditation is a little more challenging. I often hear people who say that they just can't meditate, they can't sit still, and so on and so forth. The mind does wander as well, and that's a challenge. So, I love the meditation, and it's really good medicine. And what do we know about medicine is sometimes it tastes like medicine. So, but when you are willing to be present, even with that discomfort of itself, things start to shift right away. And a meditation practice, by the way, does not have to be an hour a day at the same time every day. You don't have to become a monk or wake up at 4 a.m. and meditate. You can literally begin your meditation practice with 5 minutes a day
And I know I have clients who they actually use a brief meditation to help them go to sleep, or even to witness the pain and have the pain subside enough so that they can go to sleep. Or if you ever wake up in the middle of the night because of pain, meditation can be a way to get that pain to calm instead of thinking, oh, I have to take an ibuprofen, or, it's just not going to get better, and you just struggle to get comfortable. These techniques that you're talking about and that you teach people are so helpful in pain management and also the shifting of those patterns, because that pain is a representation of a pattern. And so when you can shift your relationship to it, instead of being, pain, to, okay, we're gonna investigate this and breathe into it and help it shift and move. Like you're saying, everything moves all the time. But until you acknowledge it through your awareness practice that you're talking about, and then learn the tools on how to shift it, you feel like nothing can change. So having a little guidance and support in that makes a big difference. I know you've had some clients with chronic issues for the majority of their adult life that are shifting and improving. And do you want to share some of the tangible benefits from walking better and what you've seen?
Oh, yes. In this moment, one person in particular comes to mind. And I have to say, it's always such a joy and a thrill to see people healing themselves, which I want to make clear right now. I am not a healer. I facilitate you healing yourself. All healing comes from within. You cannot be healed by someone else. It's just not possible. You have to heal yourself. So I love holding people's hands on that road. And I have a client who I've been seeing for almost 2 years now. And when I met her, she had a really hard time walking. To get into her car, she'd sit down on the seat and she would have to lift her leg and put it in the car. She also was fairly hunched over, had really stiff neck, lots of pain in the hips all the time and the low back.
Does this sound like anybody you know? Because often...
It sounds like a lot of people I know.
Right? And often those people just think this is what life is. This is what happens when you get older. You can't change it. And so keep going, because it turns out you can.
Well, I really want to mention that this person was over the age of 70 when I met her. And you're right, Candy. A lot of people do assume, well, I'm getting older, so this is normal, and it's just downhill from here. What a bleak prospect, right? We want to go to our graves dancing. So she walks great now. We went over some lifestyle things, ergonomic stuff like gardening, how to get up and down off of the ground, and strategies for when you're pulling weeds to do that without making the back feel worse. The hips, she no longer has to lift her leg to get it into the car. She says she feels great. Every time I see her, she just says, thank you, and I feel so amazing. And I'm like, yay, you go. And it was all you. What happened to the computer, Candy? Oh, there it is. So, yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Cool.
And so, when you've been suffering for a long time, and I mean, I've heard people as young as in their 50s saying, oh, this is just what happens when you get old. And I'm like, you're not old yet. Your body is actually designed to function so much better. We just don't have the manual to it, And so we come into this world and we get this body, and we just kind of plow through life and use it and ignore it. And eventually it starts asking for maintenance. And, every 3,000 miles or 5,000 miles, you have to get an oil change on your car. And, you have to change your timing belt, and you have to do all these things for these moving parts and these vehicles that we drive around. But when it comes to our bodies, we just go, oh, we put fuel in it. It's fine.
I ate.
Yeah.
Oh, water. Yeah, I drink water a little.
Yeah. And so our bodies need the maintenance and the tune-ups, and older vehicles, you switch the oil that you use, you have to replace things. And so in the same way as our bodies get older, we might have to switch the consciousness around the way that we move and the way that we do things, because our bodies need that adjustment. And so Jeanette has one of the owner's manuals to how these work, and she likes to share.
I love to share. Yoga is an awesome owner's manual. I never thought of it that way, but it really is. It's a guide to the proper care and keeping of human beings on all levels.
And I'm going to put a little asterisk there, because also yoga is amazing, but if you have tried a yoga class and you've hurt from it, or struggled in it, part of that is that it's different from yoga therapy, in the sense that in yoga therapy, she's looking for your injuries, she's understanding, she can see the dysfunctions in your body, and so it's more pinpointed, it's more customized to you. Where in a yoga class, and this is just general in large yoga classes, the instructor isn't able to help everyone individually. And so if you go in there and you get hurt, it's not that yoga hurt you, it's that you weren't able to be properly supported in the yogic practice. And with yoga therapy, there's so much more involved, and it is utilizing the poses, but really in a more comprehensive manner. Jeanette reads MRIs and X-rays, and she can talk directly to your physician and your physical therapist and work alongside the work they're doing to integrate the whole body. And it's amazing how you can positively impact someone who's going through traditional Western medicine, which is, helpful to go through that, but then you can incorporate that consciousness, that really tuning into the body, really sensing into what's happening, and integrating the moves that you're getting or the exercises in as a whole.
Absolutely, for the benefit of your whole being. And I wanted to back up again to what you were saying about self-care. Chronic pain and stress are results often, yes, of needs not being met. And so that points to self-care directly. The number one way to stay healthy and happy is to take really good care of yourself. And I get a visual of this when I watch my son play his video games. You find yourself in this character, right? And you're looking at your body like, okay, and then you look around and this is where I am. And up on the screen, you have your little hearts that represent your health level and other vitals. Sometimes the games get really intricate with that stuff. So you're going through the game and your hearts start to fade, and you get one less and one less and one less, and then you have to do things like go find water, go find food, take care of yourself, get some rest. If you have a battle with a monster, your energy level goes way down and you have to do something to replenish that. So we're like these video game characters in this life, and you want to keep an eye on what your energy level is, what your health level is, and monitor it and address it as the needs arise. And this is going to help you avoid more serious chronic illness down the road, because chronic stress, chronic lack of self-care, we all know, leads to heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, things that we really can avoid with the support, the nourishment that we need as human beings.
And all of those things are decreased immune system,
yes,
which we don't think about. But if you're often sick, if you often get colds, if you're having that happen regularly, it might be one of those guides, one of those signs on a roadmap saying, hey, you're headed in this direction where your immune system is lowered on a continual basis because your stress levels are too high and your self-care is too low. And right now, in this unique time of COVID, we have different experiences going on. We have had an experience maybe for you where you're home and you're not under the same levels of stress that you were before. And for some people, there's been relief, right? In that sense of having a break and realizing how stressed they were. But then they exchanged it for the new stress of what is this now being home and all of the concerns that come with being off of work. And then there are the others who are still at work and maybe their workload is increased or now they're supporting the entire family where before it was a 2-income household. And so this is a time, it's a really interesting time to take an evaluation of your stress, of your self-care, and say, am I working 60 or 80 hours a week right now? Or in my time off, am I realizing how much I was in that high stress mode all the time? And maybe you're being allowed to go back to work soon and you're going, oh, I don't want to go back to that. I don't want to go back to feeling that way. I don't want to live in that level of stress that I was in. It was really nice having this lower vibration and calmer version of life. And so what these breaks, these breathing techniques, these 5 minutes of yoga that you can do, it inserts that into your life, and it doesn't just do it for the 5 minutes that you're doing it. It resets you for a period of time ahead of it. I know for me, the difference between when I meditate, now I just worked after this with my free time to meditating for an hour a day, which don't worry, that's not everybody's path. It's like 5 minutes is great. But since I've started doing that, I've noticed it carries throughout my entire day. And I noticed even when I was meditating 5 to 10 minutes a day in the morning, it carried throughout my entire day. That spending time with these practices rewires your brain and your relationship to stress.
Absolutely, and it increases your resilience. And I want to stress that you do not need to meditate for an hour a day.
You don't.
I'll volunteer that I am a mother of 2 young children, a wife, and I work and I go to school. I meditate between 5 and 30 minutes a day, depending on the day. Okay, and I'm happy with that. 5 minutes, I got it, good.
Awesome.
The days that I don't get to it, don't stress about it. Because do I need more stress in my life? No.
Defeats the purpose.
So, but having that commitment and returning to the practice again and again, it's that continuity over time. It adds up. It's like putting money in your bank account, putting money in your wellness account. And then there are going to be times when you do have more availability to invest in. And for some reason, we've focused in on meditation. But let's expand that out, right? Maybe you really love getting a massage. Maybe that's what does it for you. Maybe you love going to a yoga class, or maybe it's having a dinner with a girlfriend. Yeah. You absolutely not only deserve that time and the money that you put into that, but you need it. It is vital for your well-being. And I can't stress enough how important it is to just have some fun.
Yeah.
Going out and having fun and forgetting about work and forgetting about the responsibilities and just being present with whoever you're with, friends, your kids, just enjoying yourself really boosts your health level, your immune system, reduces your stress. So, and these are all super practical ways, and I'm all about being practical. Like, let's just do what fits the best in people's lives. So,
even if it's 5 minutes with eye contact with your partner at home.
Oh, yeah.
You're just like, hi, how was your day? Instead of, hey, how was your day? I'm, this, and you're not really present with them because you're going through actions of laundry and dishes and those things. And so discipline and consistency. Hi, Erin.
Hi, Erin.
They are challenging. They're challenging
especially in quarantine.
When there's no structure going on to create structure for yourself can be really challenging.
Absolutely. I found that extremely challenging when the kids first got out of school and work shut down, and now I had all this time, but I had no routine, no structure. I didn't know what I was doing with myself. I actually felt kind of depressed for a few weeks, and
I'm sure a lot of people can relate.
Absolutely. I know a lot of people have told me that same story. So what do? In my case, it was starting up a yoga class at 8 in the morning because I was having trouble dragging my butt out of bed, and I thought, this is not going anywhere good. So I need to get up in the daytime and be asleep at night, which is also very important for your wellness, having a routine. And it's about staying in the rhythm, the circadian rhythm with the sun and the moon and the earth. And your adrenaline system has a rhythm that's also lined up with the sun and the earth. And you can see how losing that rhythm is going to mess with your adrenaline. And guess what adrenaline is? It's stress. It's, you know, and then you got your cortisol going, and it's all a big mess. So let's all just stay on a nice rhythm.
And another option for routine is if you're not going to create a yoga class in the morning and you're not going to meditate for an hour a day because you're crazy like I am, it can be as simple as when I wake up. Not I'm waking up at 8, but when I wake up, I'm going to drink a glass of water, go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, and then I'm going to sit and just breathe for a minute and just make a little practice of feeling your feet, doing that scan that we started with at the beginning. If you're just tuning in and you didn't see that, that'll be in the replay. But just do a little bit of body scanning and a little breath, and it only takes a minute or two. And that's a routine. It doesn't have to be at the same time every day, but in the same time frame, in the sense of like
same rhythm.
Yeah, I woke up, whether you woke up at 6 or you woke up at 11. When you wake up, you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna get my glass of water, go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna breathe for like a minute. Or I'm just gonna read, one chapter of a book, or, a couple pages, and just whatever that is to you, that is the foundation of a routine. And it doesn't have to be a huge thing, but when you do that, you start building this within yourself, like, I can do a routine.
Yeah.
Look at this. I've been doing that every day. I drink my water, and now I feel better because I drink water every day. And, so we can help you figure that out. There's lots of help out there. If you are struggling with that and you want some support, conversation, give us a call. We would love to talk to you about different options. And look forward, because we have Jeanette is offering online classes, as well as she does her online one-on-ones, which have been really helpful because you have that appointment, that routine that you're sticking to, even if it's only once or twice a week. And we're getting ready to launch. It's not quite ready yet. The yoga membership online that will include a video library with lots of different self-help techniques, such as breathing and meditation, Ayurvedic advice, yoga classes, and lots more. Yeah. So, Jeanette, it's been so lovely talking to you. I always love talking to you.
Of course. Likewise, Candy.
And so, thank you for tuning in to our Wellness Wednesday. If you're watching the replay, make sure to comment below. We will reply to all the comments, and we're doing this every week, so tune in and check out our past ones. We've had some great people on here, and we have our Feel Good Fridays, and I think...
Remember, your number one priority is you, because your video game character will die.
It's a little heavy, but...
Yes. But, it's a video game.
And you can make you a priority in small ways that will build up and feel much bigger. So
you're worth it. You deserve it. Absolutely 100%.
Oh, and I hope you get in the habit of drinking water, Erin. Yes. All right. So tune in next week. We're Candy Williamson. This week was with Jeanette Conery, yoga therapist at Creating a Sustainable You. And thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye.
Namaste.